U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame was established in 1954 in Ishpeming, Michigan, considered to be the birthplace of organized skiing in the United States. Its purpose is to provide lasting recognition for those American skiers who have excelled as competitors or as contributors to the advancement of skiing in all its forms. Each year, a select group of individuals are added to its honor roll. Please join us now as we meet this year's U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame honorees.
Without a doubt, Glen Plake is the most recognizable skier in the world. He's made appearances on countless television shows, appeared in some of the most iconic ski movies, and he's been on the cover of countless magazines. He's even popped up in a few subway stations. Growing up on the slopes of Heavenly Valley, his heroes were the hot doggers, and it's no secret he punched his ticket to that bad boy scene too. A free spirit, he honed his skills on the race course and learned his lines in the mogul field, even spent some time on the U.S. Moguls team, but Glen admits he wasn't cut for FIS fame. He resisted the national team regimen and jokes that in defiance his trademark hairdo was born. The 80s were a time when freestyle skiing was blazing a path and Glen was ramping up on the momentum. His real passion for skiing and his chance at becoming a, quote, pro skier came through the camera. Greg Stump took a chance including the 21-year-old in his 1986 film, The Maltese Flamingo, and the rest is history. In 1988 came Blizzard of Oz, the classic movie that changed the lives of so many free skiers. According to Glen, skiing 50-degree slopes at 20,000 feet is a game where rules have not changed. Without a doubt, this evangelist lives and breathes skiing every day of his life, and not just at the posh destination resorts. For Glen, he's just as inspired roaming off the beaten path. He starts his winter in Chamonix, building legs and lungs on thousands of feet of vertical. Come March, he returns stateside to get on the road and carve, not only on the big mountains, but also on the smaller resorts that might only offer up a few hundred feet of vertical. Glen and his wife Kimberly don't mind. They chalk it up to their own Down Home Tour mission. An annual road trip that started in 1991 on their honeymoon when they set out in a camper van and traveled 13,000 miles through 33 states, skiing 50 resorts in 68 days. From the lift line at these feeder areas, this Pied Piper and his partner learn what skiers and snowboarders need and want. Most often, the lessons come from the kids, a magnet to Glen's mohawk, an audience he recognizes represents the future of snow sports. What he gleans goes to manufacturers like Elan and Del Bello, where he works to continually refine equipment. Although there are some days and some conditions where the straight skis come out and Glen rips up a line for ski history's sake. Glen still uses the camera as a tool to preach the gospel. Since 1999, he's hosted RSN's Real Thrills TV show. For his zeal to keep it real, Glen Plake has been named one of the top 10 most influential skiers of all time. He's wild, he's worldly, and he keeps us connected. Like no other icon of our sport, Glen's passion bridges all cultures, from the wide-eyed beginners making stiff turns in rental gear to the fearless veterans ducking out of helicopters to lay a line in the Chugach. They relate and listen to this ambassador because he so freely shares his joy. And now, for his lifetime labor of love to our sport, Glen Plake will forever be honored at the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.
Mickey and Ginny Cochran didn't set out to raise a family of Olympians, but they did want their children to grow up in the outdoors and skiing. So they moved their 4 kids from Cornish, New Hampshire to 100 acres in the mountains of Richmond, Vermont. And in the winter of 1961, Mickey rigged a 500-foot rope tow on 100 feet of vertical in the backyard. Skiing became a way of life. Dad, an athlete himself, took on the role of coach with the discipline of a sergeant. Bobby remembers his dad always wanted skiing to stay fun, but he structured their after-school workouts with the precision of an engineer. After a 4-mile run along the Winooski River, they did weight training and then went out to run a 15-gate slalom course under the floodlights he rigged from the back attic window. It didn't take long for all that practice to pay off. In 1967, Barbara Ann and Marilyn made the U.S. team. That same year, Bobby, a 9th grader, won the giant slalom at the National Junior Championships. And in 1968, at 16, he was also invited to join his sisters on the U.S. team, making him the youngest at that time to earn a spot on the squad. Bobby's rare talent covered all events. In 1971, he won 3 out of the 5 races in the Can-Am Series, as well as the Roach Cup downhill in Aspen. By 1972, Lindy was also on the US team, and all 4 Cochrans were set to go to the Sapporo Games until Lindy broke her leg. Bobby vividly remembers those Japanese games. Visibility was so bad, he couldn't see Barbara Ann's gold medal slalom run until she skied through the finish. Bobby finished a creditable 8th place in the downhill. And the next year, in 1973, his mental toughness would earn him gold in the combined at the most demanding and dangerous event, the Hahnenkamm in Kitzbühel. Never before had an American stood on the top of that podium. And in March that year, he earned another American first, finishing #1 at the World Cup Giant Slalom in Heavenly Valley. And he was presented with the Buddy Werner Award in recognition for his sportsmanship and leadership on the US team. Bobby turned pro in 1975, and in the 3 years on the circuit he added more to the trophy case, including a 1976 overall 3rd place in the World Pro Tour. After racing, he put that same drive and dedication into medical school, and today Dr. Robert Cochran is a physician in New Hampshire. He still loves to ski, and to take on a new challenge, he recently added Nordic racing to his resume. As the country's only not-for-profit ski area, Cochran Ski Area continues to grow, now operating 4 lifts, servicing 8 slopes. Bobby's children, Tom, Jim and Amy, along with their cousins, have had remarkable racing careers. Bobby admits the bar was set high in the Cochran family, and he looks back fondly on his life from a little town in Vermont to the mountains of the world. Now, with his sisters B.A. and Marilyn, the Cochran family legacy lives on in the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.
Sweet, now in 2 lovely colors. Introducing Sweet Cuvée and Sweet Rosé. Corbel, toast life. Sweet, now in 2 lovely colors. Introducing Sweet Cuvée and Sweet Rosé. Corbel, toast life.
Buffy Davis had no choice. She was destined to ski. Her parents, Dennis and Mary Beth, wanted a ski family, and besides, they thought the ski hill was the perfect daycare. By 8, the hook was set. She was already dreaming of the Olympics. Growing up in Sun Valley, Idaho was the perfect place for Muffy's dreams to come true. Her ski team included up-and-comers like Muffy's rival, Peekaboo Street. By the time the 2 of them were in high school, they were topping the charts and headed for the U.S. development team. On Saturday, February 18th, 1989, during downhill training, one turn would change everything. It was a run Muffy had skied hundreds of times. She clocked close to 50 miles per hour when she lost control on a sharp turn. She hit the first tree with her back, the second tree with her head. The impact shattered her helmet and severed her spine. At the hospital, it was her dad, the radiologist on call, who read the x-ray. Hospitalized from February through May, Muffy put her goal setting to another test, and school became her conquest. In 1995, she earned a biology degree from Stanford, specializing in disability studies. But even in sunny California, ski racing remained with her. The December after the accident, Muffy's mom took her to Winter Park to get her back on the snow. She tried to ski again, but her upper spine injury left her with no torso control. For Muffy, it was agonizing. She jokes now that the ski patrol took her down in the toboggan so many times they stopped strapping her in. But she never gave up. The breakthrough came after college in 1995 when instructor Mark Mast put Muffy in a new monoski at Sarah Will's adaptive ski camp in Vail. The Yeti made all the difference. With better trunk support and stability, she flowed through the turns. The old rush was back, and 8 days later, she entered her first monoski race. Within 3 years, she was headed to Nagano for the 1998 Paralympics. Finally, a childhood dream had come true. From Japan, she brought home a bronze. 2 years later, she won gold at the World Championships, and in 2002 in Salt Lake, she took 3 silvers.
The silver medalist, representing the United States of America, Buffy Davis!
Over the course of her career, she earned 7 World Cup titles, including 2 back-to-back overall titles in 2001 and 2002. A year before her crash, Muffy wrote for a school assignment, "I am about success through determination. I am here to live the best I can, and through that, lead others into the best they can be." Today, Muffy is a motivational speaker, and with her husband, Jeff Burley, they travel the world teaching adaptive sports and recreation. In 2008, Ellie was born, and this couple had their daughter on skis as soon as she could walk. Along with Olympic medalists Gretchen Fraser, Kristen Cooper, and Peekaboo Street, Muffy Davis has a run named after her on Bald Mountain. And now, her name will also join them as an honored member of the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.
Truckey's Darren Rawls knows only one speed: full throttle. The most decorated American speed skier in history, he collected a total of 12 World Cup career victories and 7 U.S. national titles, along with an incurable need for speed.
Pretty much I've grown up my entire life skiing. I've been on skis since I was 3 years old. I'm 30 now, and it's what I love to do. It's kind of my reason for being.
Born and raised in Northern California, Darren found himself exposed to all kinds of sports. But with winters in Tahoe and summers in Clear Lake, Rolf's focus narrowed to water sports, both liquid and frozen. At the age of 12, Darren's family moved to Tahoe to ensure he could concentrate on chasing his ski racing dream. During the summers, he pursued his warm weather passion, jet skiing. After just 4 years of racing 440 Superstock and modified classes, he became the expert world jet ski champion in 1993. Ironically, that same year, he was named to the U.S. ski team. 13 years on the national team netted Darren 3 trips to the Winter Olympics and 5 World Championship appearances. Rolfs officially announced his presence as one of the top speed merchants in the world in 2001 when he crashed an Austrian World Championships party in St. Anton, winning the Super G gold medal. He would also collect a pair of medals at the 2005 championships in Bormio, Italy, with a silver in downhill and a bronze in giant slalom.
The light isn't all that bad. It looks like Darren's got it going here on the top part coming to the Augsburg. This next time is going to be critical.
And he's in the lead at the first split by 0.13 of a second.
His time on the White Circus also provided the opportunity for D-Money to join an elite club as a downhill champion of the internationally revered Hahnenkamm in Kitzbühel, Austria.
Approaching the finish line, the final jump, chasing Kusch. Darren Rolfs, the American, is in the lead by 0.05 of a second.
He accomplished this feat in 2003, adding a World Cup Super G win on the Strife to his resume the following winter. His desire to explore different facets of the sport of skiing prompted his decision to retire from World Cup racing.
Oh, Darren going big. Darren Rolfs down to the finish line. He goes over the last big kicker. Redemption is his. Darren Rolfs claims the gold medal.
He now splits his winter days between big mountain skiing and the ski cross circuit, excelling at both, having won Winter X Gold and representing the U.S. once again at last winter's Vancouver Olympics. An ambassador for Sugar Bowl, he continues his involvement with ski racing, working with the Resort Ski Academy and ski team, sharing his knowledge and experience with younger athletes. When not rocketing down a skier cross course or skiing magnificent mountains for films, Darren and his wife Michelle have full-time jobs raising twins Dryson and Miley. It is with great pleasure that we welcome Darren Rolfs to the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.
Sweet, now in 2 lovely colors. Introducing Sweet Cuvée and Sweet Rosé. Corbel, toast life. Sweet, now in 2 lovely colors. Introducing Sweet Cuvée and Sweet Rosé. Corbel, toast life.
Two of our country's most prestigious ski resorts, Sun Valley and Snow Basin, have been meticulously shaped by Earl Holdings' work ethic and attention to detail, which harkens back to humble beginnings in Salt Lake City. Shortly after graduating with a civil engineering degree, he and his bride, Carol, headed to the western prairie of Wyoming to help transform an ailing truck stop for the S.M. Covey family. It took 2 years, but Earl and Carol transformed the desolate outpost into the highest volume service station in the country. Today, as many as 5,000 travelers a day stop at this traveler's oasis that boasts its own zip code. The family went on to build Little America properties in Cheyenne, Flagstaff, and Salt Lake City. In a bold move in 1976, Earl bought Sinclair Oil. His business transformed a regional chain of travel centers into an oil company covering much of the territory west of the Mississippi. A year later, Earl heard that Sun Valley Ski Resort was for sale. He wasn't a skier yet, but he knew the hospitality industry. Founded in 1936 by Averill Harriman, Sun Valley was America's first destination ski resort. Meeting with Averill, the Holdings could see the potential of this once grand and glamorous year-round resort. So in 1977, they started a career in the ski business. Reporters proclaimed Earl bought a pearl. Assembling a team of dedicated employees, he launched his vision to restore Sun Valley to its original grandeur. His love for the Western outdoors and respect for nature helped fuel his ambition for the first project, planting more than 7,000 trees. He installed 7 high-speed lifts and the world's largest automated snowmaking system, covering more than 1,000 acres of skiable terrain. He designed the new day lodges to recreate the ambience of the national park lodges in Yellowstone, Glacier, and Yosemite. To top off the Sun Valley ski experience, he added an 8-passenger high-speed gondola. In the early 80s, Earl became involved in a small ski area in Utah called Snow Basin. The Holdings purchased the area in 1984. Earl recognized the value of Snow Basin's dramatic ski terrain. When planning began for the 2002 Olympics in Salt Lake, he joined the organizing committee and set out to turn Snow Basin into a premier venue for the downhill and Super G events, as well as the Paralympic Games. For skiers, he added gondolas, chairlifts, and snowmaking. For spectators, he built 3 massive day lodges, including the spectacular John Paul Lodge near the top of the men's downhill. His 5-star 800-room Grand America Hotel in Salt Lake City became Olympic headquarters. The success of the Salt Lake Games is a tribute to Earl's tireless efforts, working closely with community leaders and ski experts to ensure continuing success. For this legacy of quality and service to the ski industry and its history, the contributions of Earl Holding will forever be remembered in the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.
Shane Mcconkey ranks as one of the world's best extreme skiers, dropping lines that most still label impossible. But Shane didn't like the word extreme. Instead, he defined his famous big mountain moves as free skiing, the freedom to ski your own style on your own terms. Shane was young when he started racing and always believed it was a solid foundation for learning the physics of skiing. As much as he wanted to be like his hero, Ingemar Stenmark, Shane wasn't bulky enough to be a career racer. Still, he was driven to push his skills forward. The park scene was yet to arrive, so in 1993, he entered the Pro Mogul Tour. The next year, he won the South American Free Skiing Championships and placed second at the World Extreme Skiing Championships. Shane continued to enter and win free skiing, big air, and skier cross competitions, but from the first time he watched The Blizzard of Oz, he realized there was another way to become a successful skier on film. He headlined in 26 films, known not only for his phenomenal skiing, but also for his zany sense of humor. His popularity also earned the People's Choice Male Skier of the Year award 3 years in a row. But his talent wasn't just for making his body work. Shane's wife, Sherry, recalls his Einstein-like passion for how to make equipment work better too.
So the idea behind these spatulas is they've got reverse camber and reverse side cut for ski and powder. And the funny thing is, everybody who picks them up is always like, oh, they look like water skis. I'm like, yeah, that's where the idea came from.
Volant was the first to take the risk on Shane's Rocker Rebellion and manufacture his reverse side cut decamber design as the spatulas. When Volant folded, K2 stepped to the plate and in 2004 introduced his next generation rocker called the Pontoon. Thanks to Shane's vision, today nearly every ski and snowboard company offers some type of rocker design in their product lines. After the rocker, Sherry says ski boots would have been next on Shane's redesign list. But this 30-something innovator was riding another wave. Always ahead of the curve and seeking new lines of possibility, he put a parachute on his back and launched into ski-based jumping. Nothing captures freedom more than flying, and Shane was addicted. Sometimes he wore a wingsuit to fly open-armed over the mountains and treetops, the landscapes he loved most. Shane admitted he would be nervous before a jump, but his wife Sherry jokes the only thing her husband was truly afraid of was an office job. On March 26, 2009, Shane was in the Dolomites of Italy, performing his trademark double backflip base jump for a film crew. It was a trick he'd done hundreds of times, but this one would be his last. He planned to release both skis before he deployed his parachute for landing. But when one ski didn't let go, he lost control, and for Shane, time ran out. Original thinkers have long been lured to skiing, but it is what they leave behind that is the real measure of their inspiration. Shane Mcconkey tips that scale in every way. He not only ushered in a new brand of skiing, but also the equipment to make it happen. And now, for a lifetime of looking forward, this prophet and his contributions will forever be remembered in the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.
Thank you for joining us. To learn more about the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame and Museum, or to nominate someone for honored membership in the Hall of Fame, please visit skihall.org.
But I got up here and realized I'm a doctor, and really nobody can read this writing, including myself.
It's really special. It's nice to be amongst this elite group of inductees.
Wow. Whew. I speak for a living, and I am speechless.
And I just want to remind everybody to don't forget about the ski area, please. Please.
Shane would be so honored to get this award. It's an incredible award.
I don't know about this. Earl could have never made it without me.